Was this game worth playing?
You're damn right it is.
Is it worth playing?
Hello folks and welcome to the Peasant Gamers. Today let's talk about the game Astellia Online. Let us review the game finally and see if it has the balls it claims to have. This is part 2 of a two-part series, and I highly recommend you to check out our first video on the game because I will not be explaining things in detail on this video. This is a review, and so if you want to know more, go check that out. But if you don't want to, then hey, all power to you, go ahead. Let's get on with the review. First off, I want to throw away some of the game features that are kind of unique in its own, and I can't review on it because these concepts or these features can make a game or break the game depending on who you are and what you like about an MMO. So first of all, we have the pet system, or what they call it as the Astellia system. Now, as the name of the game suggests, it's a game combat and the story is based a lot around the pet system. That's why the name is called Astellia. The Astellias are a pretty big deal because your character's stat depends on the amount of pets that you have, and your stats is going to determine how strong your pets are, so it goes both ways. The pets fight for you, they tank for you, they even heal you, depending on which pets you have, however. Now, in general, I hate MMOs that have a pet system. I just don't see the point of a game having a pet system. But if you want one, then yeah, sure, there it is. In this system, however, I'm gonna give credit to the game here because the pet system is actually not that bad. It's not annoying, or it's not overpowered. You can summon and unsummon pets anytime you want, within combat or outside of combat, it doesn't matter. You don't even need to go around and capture this pet, they just give it to you when you're questing. Just keep in mind that they do require a bit of grinding to level them up. Next is the combat, which is tap targeting. Yes, the game is a full tap targeting game. Why I say this is a neutral thing is because some like it and some don't. I personally don't like tap targeting games. I prefer action combat, but if you can live with it, then yeah, sure, go ahead. So pick your own poison in this. If you want more information about the tap targeting combat, it's kind of underwhelming. The global cooldowns makes the combat seem a bit slow, and there's a lot of skills out there that can root your character while channeling the skills. It's kind of annoying, in my opinion, and there's one skill in particular I have a very big issue with, which I'm going to talk about later on. Next is Holy Trinity. The game offers Holy Trinity. For those of you who are not familiar with this, it means that there is a dedicated tank, a healer, and damage classes, which are called DPS. I like a Holy Trinity game. I feel like it adds a layer of complexity and depth to the game, but that's just how I see it. It's totally up to you whether you like it or not. Having dedicated healers and tanks can break the game, because it is hard to run dungeons without having a tank or a healer, especially at the end game content level. The open world PvP. Similar to World vs World in Guild Wars 2 and Alliance War in Terra, the game has an open world PvP zone. This is not a PvP server or a PvP server time. It's called Avalon, and it's a full zone where you can do PvP. In Avalon, it features 3 factions in war against each other. One good thing about the game is that the game kind of randomly assigns you or your guild with a random faction every week, so there is very little chance of the servers dying because of an overpowered faction, similar to what we saw happened in Terra. Also, they recently had a patch during the Steam launch where they included PvE mode in this Avalon. This was met with obviously a lot of criticism and hate, and I can understand that. I mean, why would you put PvE modes in a PvP world? It's just kind of stupid. I enjoyed the Avalon system a bit, but for some people they seem to hate the game with their kidneys or something, so yeah, pick your choice. With that out of the way, let's get down to brass tactics and take a look at what's good about the game. The graphics in the game is obviously very beautiful. I like it. It is beautifully done. The high quality graphics, however, does come at a cost to your precious frame rates. But you can enjoy the views if you want to. The character creation is deep and offers a lot of versatility to create the face you want, the character. You even have height adjustments and so on, so yeah, it's good. I mean, there's race locks and some of the classes are even gender locked, but the serious customization is pretty good. Now the game features what's called as an advanced class system at the end of the game. Every class in the game has a choice to go for 3 different specializations or advanced classes. I like games with advanced classes. It just makes the game seem more RPG, you play a better role at it. It's also good in Astellia's case because you can switch between them by spending experience points. It's not cheap, but at the same time you're not really locked down to an advanced class and you have to just play through it no matter what. Tanks have the choice to go for a slight DPS class, and also healers can as well, making the game less painful for the usually less damage oriented classes. The game has one of the best gear cosmetics I've ever seen in a game. The gear looks beautiful and almost looks like some of the endgame gear sets, so that's a good job there. The storyline is kind of interesting. It revolves around the Astels and you being an Astellian, so it's pretty interesting. If you're interested in storyline and story questing, there's a pretty good story there. If you're not, then well, good for you. You can just skip all the cutscenes and I guess that's good for you as well. Star Tale, which is an exploration thing, it's an adventure slash achievement thing. It's called Star Tales and it's pretty rewarding. It's completely based on exploration and has very little information on how to achieve them. It's fun and it's an extra thing to waste your life on, so if you're into that sort of thing, then go ahead, waste your life away, I guess. Now, one of the good things about the game is the crafting. Apart from its weird crafting pattern where you can only be one gathering profession, but you can then master every crafting profession, it's pretty nice. The best part of the game is that it doesn't require to have a stamina or an energy for crafting. It can craft 24 hours a day, which is something more games need to do. Also, every endgame gear can be crafted using your crafting. And finally, I guess you can collect and play with some cute and sometimes quirky companions, I guess. Now then, what's bad about this game? You see guys, I tried to really like the game, but there's just some things in the game that just kicks the bucket for me. Here's some of them. The questing and leveling is just generic and bland. It's as boring as painting the streets outside in black color. That's the best way I can put it. Character creation is deep, I told you that, but there's a race lock involved and some of the classes are gender locked, so disgusting. The combat and skill in the game is just slow and clunky. Many skills roots your character and it's painful at times. AoE buffs. Now then, this is so atrocious that I had to make it into a separate item to discuss. What kind of a fucking moron decided that it was a nice idea to make a 20-minute long ally buff a single target skill? Every buff in the game has to be applied individually, and you have to select all the characters one by one and apply that buff. I mean, the skill doesn't even have a freaking cooldown, so then why would you bother having to make it a non-AoE skill? It's just... Moving on. The end game content, if you will, the game has just too many RNG mechanics, chances, Gear upgrades can fail and they can roll back. You even get physical stats on a magical gear and vice versa. I know there's a lot of games that do that, but then again, why would you have that here in the game as well? It's just stupid. Remove that. Guild system is pretty boring and kind of lackluster. I mean, there's no point in having a guild really. In-game content is limited. You can pretty much do every daily and every dungeon entries in about an hour gameplay, and you're left with nothing else to do apart from some mindless crafting and AFK farming, I guess. And finally, the cash shop. Now this isn't a terrible pay-to-win situation going on. I mean, it's almost like Guild Wars 2, where there is a slight benefit to people who pay a little more in the game. I mean, no one complains about the cash features in Guild Wars 2, right? That said, however, any amount of cash benefits in a buy-to-play game is not acceptable to me. Say what you want, but if I pay my hard-earned cash to play a game and still have cash shop items that give players who cash in the game an advantage whatsoever, it is not fun to me at all, and it should be literally stopped. Overall, I cannot justify the game as a £30 game worth buying at all. It's simply not worth it, and I wish I had my money back really. If it was free, yeah, maybe I could say it's not bad, but it's £30 game and it's going up against the likes of Arcade Unchained. I mean, Guild Wars 2, I guess. Yeah, so I would just say don't waste that money. You know, buy yourself a new bed sheet or something, I guess. Look, I'm not saying the game is bad. Obviously there's some flaws, but it's not terrible. It's not breaking the game in any way. It's just that if you're the kind of person who wants to spend a ton of time into an MMO, build your character, and you just enjoy playing a lot, then this is probably not for you. It's really not worth it. But let's say if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time in your hand, you probably have an hour to 2 hours at maximum to play a game, and you still want that MMO vibe to your life, then yes, this could probably make sense. I mean, £30 is not a lot considering there's AAA title games that are worth like $60, so I guess it has its value there. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for this video. If you still want to give the game a try and you want to learn something about the game, then click the link in the description below and check out the game overview we did earlier. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you like what we do here, subscribe to the channel and support us. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Tiny Spear, and I will see you on the next one.